Welcome to the July Ride With Me video. Today I'm going to talk about e-bikes. So, the reason for that is this. I've been riding with the Copenhagen Wheel on my road bike for the past couple weeks, and it turns my road bike into an e-bike. So there you can see the lights lit up, and that along with the app makes my carbon road bike a carbon e-bike. So very exciting. Let's go for a ride. First thing to get out of the way, e-bikes, you hear a lot, are cheating. And to me, if you're not in a race, you're not cheating. So, I don't understand the concept that somehow e-bikes are cheating. If you're worried about Strava segments, those of you on Strava, there is an e-bike activity, and that has different segments and keeps you out of taking Queen of the Mountains or King of the Mountains away from anyone on a normal bike. So, with that out of the way, why are e-bikes so great? For me, the best thing about them is the possibility to get more people on bikes. It removes a lot of barriers, whether real or perceived, about cycling. One of them being, for some people who live in hilly places, hills. E-bikes flatten out hills, so right now I'm going 23k an hour up this hill, not a problem. And a lot of people don't have shower facilities at work, and so they can pedal, get to work in a reasonable time, and don't have to worry about sweating. So for me, getting more people on bikes is always a win. And it's a win for everybody, whether you cycle or not. If you cycle, the more people on bikes will lead to more people wanting better infrastructure. It also makes it safer because there's safety in numbers for us on bikes. It's more reminders to cars to look out for us. And the thing with e-bikes is pedal assist, so it's not magic. And people who otherwise lead very sedentary lifestyles are potentially going to be doing more activities and active travel. So you do have to pedal, and your heart rate will go up, so you do get exercise. If you're into cycling for fitness, well, yeah, an e-bike is probably not for you. However, if you have a long commute, it can extend your range. To me, it just opens up more possibilities for people who otherwise wouldn't cycle, so always a good thing. And in the EU, the e-bike will max out at 25k an hour. So once it's over 25k an hour, which I am right now, though I'm going downhill, you're doing the pedaling, it cuts out. And I feel like that's a bit low. So in North America, I believe, depending on provinces and states, it's up to 25 miles an hour. And I rode one in Canada that was maxed out at 20 miles an hour. And boy, it was so fun. And I think that 20 miles an hour is a good max, because most people who are competent and fit bike riders can easily go 30k an hour. And it's not that the bike controls your speed. If you're not comfortable at that speed, then you stop pedaling, you pedal slower, you brake, you still control the speed of the bike. Oh, got some deer. So yeah, it is pedal assist, not magic. So You still do have to put in some effort, and you max out, like I said, in the EU at 25k an hour. 20 miles an hour is about 30k, 32k, I think. And that's the comfortable speed for most people on a bike. So I know the e-bike manufacturers are currently working to have that max raised, and I hope they succeed. But in the meanwhile, we've got our 25k an hour limit, and it's still a lot of fun. And this bike I've been commuting on for the past few weeks, and I wasn't feeling well one day, and so I just pedaled easy, let the bike do the work, kept it under 25k an hour, and it was great because I could get to work on my bike still in a reasonable amount of time when I wasn't feeling 100%. So great, it was fantastic. And the Copenhagen wheel that I'm using now, I'll be doing a full video on it to explain it to you. But it's great because you can put it on any bike with rim brakes, pretty much. And so if you have an injury or some reason to need help, you can temporarily turn your bike into an e-bike and then swap the wheel out and turn it back to a normal bike. So it's really great. And for me, e-bikes open up so many possibilities for people. So I was reading an article about a family, and they got an e-bike and they loved it so much they started using it for all their little short journeys, and they ended up selling their second car and going down to only owning one car, which is amazing, one less car on the road. And for those that feel e-bikes are expensive, well, I think that just paid for the e-bike 10 times over. So it's great. They're cheap to run, they're easy to maintain, they save you money in the long run, so I think that they really do pay for themselves. So rather than looking at it as a big chunk of change for a bike, you can look at it as long-term savings, or not even that long. I don't think it would take many months to get your savings back. So I'm just going into a headwind here, hopefully you can hear me. The other great thing, when you're cycling in a city and there's a lot of stop-start, it can be kind of, well, really annoying. And the e-bike takes that away. You have to stop, you're like, it's no big deal. It's not the wasted energy of braking when you're pedaling yourself. And for me, who doesn't have any explosive power, those starts, I'm a bit slow off the start. And riding this bike has been so much fun, because right off the go I'm up to speed straight away. So it's a lot of fun that way, and just changes your attitude towards having to stop. It's less annoying. And we were out in the Pyrenees in September. We were staying at the Free Range Chalet, which is accommodation and half board. And in the evenings, it's a social thing where you all sit down together for dinner. And you all discuss what you did over the day. And there was a couple there, and the husband, he cycled, so he rented a nice carbon bike. She doesn't cycle, so he rented her an e-bike for a day just to see if she'd enjoy coming out with him on the e-bike. And oh my goodness, did she ever love it. So they just kept that e-bike the whole time they were there. She went out with him every day, and she loved it. She was flying up the mountains in front of him, and she just had such a great time. And I think how much better their vacation was because they could go out together and enjoy the amazing rides together. And you know, she doesn't cycle, so there's no way she would be going up mountains on a normal bike and enjoying it. So that is a great example of allowing two people to go do an activity together and both enjoying it in their own way. Not everybody cycles for sport. one thing I would love to see is for the government to take VAT off e-bikes. They offer rebates on cars up to £4,500, so I don't really think it's a big ask. And if the government treated cycling as a legitimate form of transport, which it is, and saw it for the cost savings, it saves the government a lot on NHS, cuts back on pollution, less wear and tear on the roads, less people on the overcrowded infrastructure. So I think having more people on bikes should be encouraged by the government in every way they can. And I'd rather see people getting into e-bikes than e-cars, because e-cars don't solve the problem of the lack of space and the inefficiency of space that cars bring in cities. There's the pollution problem, but they take up so much space for one person usually. It's just a bike comparatively takes up very little. So again, I'm going uphill. Oh my gosh. And I'm letting the bike do the work so I can easily talk to you going uphill. I would definitely not be talking to you going up this hill at 23k an hour normally. But my heart rate is still risen. I'm still getting exercise. Now, I had this wheel for probably about a month before I put it on, but I had to wait because I was training for the Vata Rundown, and so it didn't make sense in a training perspective to be riding an e-bike. But now that I have it on, when I go ride my other road bikes, when I first push off, I always think, my brain thinks, oh, your brake's on, or you're in the wrong gear, because I'm used to being quick off the start now. And so it's a bit strange to switch between them. And though I didn't mention, for those of you who don't know, I'm riding around Richmond Park this morning, which is near where I currently live, and definitely I will miss it when I leave London. It's a beautiful park. I think living in London, I've seen more wildlife than growing up in Canada. Got the foxes, the deer here, there's parakeets around, we've got badgers. There's so much wildlife in London. When I was out a couple weekends ago, I was out with a friend. She rides casually, she doesn't own a bike, and I said, oh, do you want to give the e-bike a try? And she was, oh, not really into the e-bikes, not really interested. I'm like, just ride down the block, just give it a try. And so off she went, and then she loved it. I mean, so then I put her in eco mode to start, and then I put her up to standard, and before you know it, she was in turbo, loving it. So they are so much fun, and I don't think, and I know I didn't understand what they're like or what they're about until you actually ride one. So everyone out there who hasn't ridden one but has opinions on them, really, I really suggest you go ride one so you can sort of understand what they're all about and all the possibilities they could open up for people. I'm not saying they're for everyone, but they just open up so many doors for people who otherwise may not ride. So I would absolutely love to hear what you guys think about e-bikes, if you've owned one or ridden one. Any tips for those looking to buy one, what to look out for. And any questions you have on them, let me know. I'll try to find out the answer. I'm just learning myself about them, and I'd be happy to answer any questions I can. And as always, if you like this video, let me know by giving it a thumbs up. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.